Welcome to the fourth episode in our podcast series, Meeting Our Community Orgs, where things get real. Today we will be going over a number of different things, including the type of meeting, the length, defining the community, who spoke, and much more. Stay tuned to find out.
So Lauren, what type of meeting was it that we went to?
We went to the Community Services Committee hosted by the Ottawa City Council. So, Ariel, what was the length of our meeting?
It was just over an hour. It went from like 9:30 till 10:30 in the morning. And Emma, how did we register for this meeting?
The meeting was actually open to the public with options for either in-person or Zoom participation. So we actually didn't have to register at all. This approach was really great because it helped us include inclusivity and accountability into our thing so that anyone could make it without having to change their schedules. Yeah. And Justine, who spoke?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the meeting, they introduced everyone. So Marty, Ariel, Teresa, Rawson, Lane, Laura, and the mediator was Laura Dudis. The long-term care services director was Dean Lett, and he shared a very informative PowerPoint presentation. Lauren, what type of meeting did we attend? Was it in person or was it online?
It was both, so we could attend either on Zoom or in person, but we decided to go in person. And Ariel, what were the group dynamics?
The board of the Ottawa City Council was very professional and friendly with each other. They seemed to have a good dynamic together. Emma, can you define the community?
Rothman's locality development model defines the community as one where decision-making involves broad participation from its members. This approach was clearly demonstrated in our meeting, as attendees were actively encouraged to voice concerns, ask questions, and also offer their perspectives on the issues that were at hand. Instead of relying on a top-down approach, the meeting was structured to ensure that all voices of the wider community were included in the decision-making process. Now, Justine, who participated?
So yeah, all the members of the committee spoke, as well as they had 2 delegates. People also were able to join over Zoom, and they also had points to share. Lauren, do you mind going over the governance of this meeting?
Yeah, for sure. So members of the community were able to participate in discussions and decision-making without the board dominating the process. Using this approach, decisions are collectively made based on the interests and values of the community. Ariel, was the meeting a charity or a nonprofit?
With the Ottawa City Council Committee, I believe they're a non-profit organization. Emma, can you define the board model?
The board model followed Robert's Rules of Order, a widely used system in running formal meetings. This board acted as the governing body, guiding the agenda, facilitating discussions, and making sure decisions were made fairly and transparently. Rather than making decisions themselves, they ensured the community participation was allowed by open debate and followed a structured process for motions and for voting. Justine, can you tell me how it was observed and who observed?
Yeah, so it was open to the public to attend in person. Laura Dudis, the committee leader, had mentioned that there was a lot of students from Carleton studying journalism there. I suppose they're there for educational purposes, so we were. And yeah, there's people over Zoom as well. Lauren, tell us about the agenda of this meeting. What did they go over?
So in the agenda 4.1 and 4.2, Councillor Carr wanted to talk about hours of beaches and waving pools, but they are going to talk about that at a later time in the agenda. And then they moved along to 5.1, which they then talked about the long-term care center update. And Ariel, could you tell us about the bylaws?
Yeah, so the Ottawa City Council has many bylaws related to the committees as well as their members. However, those bylaws include a code of conduct, accountability and transparency policy,
as well as the council expense policies and as well as others. However, while we were there, they mainly stuck to the specific guidelines that the members and community needed to follow, where when the community brought forward people as delegations, they were able to speak and share their stories on long-term care homes, and they were both given 5 minutes to speak. So, Emma, can you tell us about Robert's Rules of Order and if they followed the 6th motion?
Yes, they did follow these motions. These motions helped guide the decision-making process. For instance, main motions introduced new items of business, while the subsidiary motions allowed for the modifications or amendments. Privilege motions ensured time-sensitive issues were addressed immediately, and incidental motions helped resolve procedural questions on the spot. Not only did they keep the meeting on track, but they also ensured that all the viewpoints were considered before any votes were casted. Now, Justine, can you talk to me about how it was documented?
Yeah, so everyone had their computers open and, yeah. So, Lauren, do you mind going over the structure of the meeting?
Yep, for sure. So the structure of the meeting was split up into 3 sections. So the first one, they talked about the long-term retirement plan, and then they went into the housing plan, and then they talked about policing as well. So Ariel, who were the terms of board members?
So on the board, they had a committee coordinator who did roll call, and the members of the board included the councillors of Ottawa, including Councillor Troster, Kavanaugh, King, Plant, and Johnson. And then they also had the vice chair, Jessica Bradley, and head chair, Laura Dudas. And Emma, can you go over the procedures that they followed?
The meeting procedures were well organized and adhered to a clear agenda. Each item was addressed in turn with motions raised and seconded before discussions took place. This procedural order aligns with what we've studied about effective government in our community organizations class. As well, by following Robert's rules, the meeting ensured that each topic was discussed thoroughly while keeping things moving efficiently. Justine, was it informative and fun for you?
I didn't find it fun, to be honest, but it's pretty informative. Having community members able to bring forth concerns and have back-to-back conversations about implementation and logistics of a topic was definitely beneficial.
And how did they deal with people talking?
So the committee took turns speak, and the mediator would be the one transitioning topic to topic and give people their known time to talk. The mediator also reminded the delegates that their time was up. There was 2 delegations, and they both had 5 minutes. The first delegate was Anna Lyle, and the second delegate was Linda Garcia.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally, was there any discussion and did they allow debate in the meeting?
One of the most engaging parts of the meeting for me was the open discussion and debate. Participants were encouraged to ask questions and raise concerns and offer differing perspectives throughout. Like Justine mentioned, there were 2 participants that were given 5 minutes to participate, and both of them had a lot to bring to the table. This created a rich environment for deliberation, where participants could challenge ideas, clarify points, and ultimately arrive at a more informed decision. Justine, can you tell us about the mission and values and vision of the meeting?
Yeah, for sure. So the mission was essentially to enhance the quality of life for residents in these long-term care homes. And the vision to be a leader in long-term care by transforming care practices into a model that values and respects each resident as an individual, creating a home-like atmosphere where residents thrive and families are able to be engaged and staff feel empowered and valued. The values that were prevalent in this meeting would include respect for individuality, autonomy and choice, relationships and community, continuous improvement, that was a lot of what they were talking about during the meeting, and cultural change.
Okay, so that sums up our meeting. Although it wasn't the most interesting meeting for us to be a part of, it was really educational and really helped put our learning from class into motion and to see how it all works together. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!